What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS Wise Stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I am joined by the GOAT, the true OG that you know is Paulie D. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 Ds. Paulie, what's happening?
What's happening, baby?
Nothing, man. Fournier finally, and we told the nation, do not back. We said, He said if we back off, he's gonna do dirts. So do not back off. And Terrence Ross as well also went for I think 30 DraftKings points. And Eric Gordon, I believe you just told me, is already basically at 6x. Well, he was at the end of the third quarter, so that was just juicy and groovy. So we'll see. Hopefully, we get a little sweaty with some NBA action. While we get sweaty with some MLB action. Sweat, baby, sweat.
Exactly.
That's one of the best text messages I get from Paulie D. When Paulie's got a sweat going and I get sweat, baby, sweat. You know? It's like instantly the song comes on in my head. Sweat, baby, sweat.
Drip, baby, drip.
Drip, baby, drip. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Drip, baby, drip. I love it, bro. Like, no matter what, I can be in the shittiest mood. I get a text like that from Paulie, and I'm jamming. But anyway, we got a pretty good baseball slate, man. So it's only 7 games. So I think that there's enough for us to be able to cover what we need to cover. I was like, I don't like to do more than like 5 teams on any given night, even on small slates. I mean, like five stacks, like 5 stacks of different teams. And I'm the 5th one. I'm a little torn. Like there's one team on the outside that I'm a little curious on your take. But we're gonna go through, do what we do dirties on the YouTube network, as long as the nation hits the like button, subscribes on YouTube, follows on Twitch, all the support we can get, we greatly appreciate. With that said, Paul, let's talk some pitching. We'll separate it into tiers as we always do. We got some we got some guys to consider up top. Who are the ones that you're considering?
So I do like Bauer at the Tippity. He seems to be the best pitcher on the slate and not that much more expensive than like the 9K options. I do think there's merit to a leverage stack. When Milwaukee goes off, they're going to sleep power, but I think this is a big Trevor Bauer, massive strikeout upside kind of spot. And if you got the fundage, use it on him. Don't mind Savali, kind of a boom bust spot. Not going to go to Maeda. Do like Flaherty, do like Lynn. So I like a lot of them. Won't be using Maeda. Probably find myself pairing Lynn and Flaherty quite a bit today.
Yeah, I'm with you on everything you said on Bauer. This is a phenomenal strikeout spot. Brewers are currently, I think, 3rd in the league in strikeouts to righties. The Tigers are obviously number 1. Do you know who's number 2?
The Yankees.
The Cubbies, actually. The Cubs are currently 2nd in the league in strikeouts to righties. We'll talk about that later. But, the Brewers are 3rd in the league in strikeouts to righties. Bauer's been on. He's been on. He's expensive. He's going to be chalky. Depending on what you want to do to get different, we have a lot of pitching. So I'll have plenty of Bauer. He'll be one of my highest exposed pitchers. But I'm going to make sure to leave some room because we got some good other arms. Maeda, I think, is, if you have 150 teams, I would work him in a little bit just because he's going to be solo owned. But I agree, for the amount of teams I'm doing, which is probably around 40, I'm not going to have much, if any, because we do have so many options. And I want to have some chances to take on a guy like Jack Flaherty. Flaherty is a big question mark, right? So we had the COVID break. Then he had one start, and the Cubs just shellacked him. Didn't even get out of the first inning, I don't think. He just got trounced. But now he's seeing a Royals team, a little bit of a change of pace. He's at home. Hopefully he's had time to reflect on that disastrous outing. But before the break, he looked like Jack Flaherty. He was just out there doing dirties and being him. So he's definitely one that I want to get some exposure to. And like you said, Lance Lynn, who's already had a good game against Oakland. Lynn's been good. There were a couple numbers on him that like solidify, because at first I'm looking at him like, man, why is he so much cheaper than like a Trevor Bauer, because he's been that good. But when I look at the numbers, there is a big difference in the numbers themselves. So I will have more Bauer, but I'll incorporate some Lance Lynn as well. What about the mid tier?
So we got our boy Merrill Kelly sitting there in the mid in a decent matchup against the Rockies at home. Do we know about the roof?
I read on their website that it's open.
Open. Okay, that's notch against. I just don't see myself doing it with Lynn 200 more, Flaherty 600 more. Luzardo's probably the guy in the mid tier. I would imagine he's going to be a chalky SP2 on DraftKings. Major talent. They're going to be cautious with them. They got a great bullpen, so I don't see them sticking them, leaving them out any longer than need be. The ceiling may be a little lowered, but Texas is bad. They strike out a lot, and his price is manageable. I can get behind some of that, and then I guess that's it. I'm not really that into Framber or Mills, or I could get some Kelly, but I just prefer right above him.
Yeah, I agree completely, man. I'm not doing the Kelly thing. I'm just not a Kelly guy. My question every day is whether or not to attack him, which I'm usually wrong because I say yes. But I missed too. He finally got hit a little bit by Oakland, and it wasn't on a slate. Just wasn't it wasn't on a slate that I played anyway. But yeah, I agree with Luzardo. I expect him to be very popular, but it's a really good spot for him. For the same part of that, and this game's in, I think, Texas, right? This park is played extremely pitcher-friendly whenever the roof has been closed. We're assuming the roof is closed. We haven't heard anything. They don't have the same organized system that Arizona seems to have, but the price is really good on FanDuel, DraftKings. I mean, he's coming off of a really good outing against the Giants. And the Giants are a team that's good. I'm sorry, the D-backs. It was against the D-backs. And the D-backs are a team that they can be tough to strike out. Like even when they suck, like right now they kind of suck. They're still tough to strike out, but righty or lefty. So Texas, a much softer matchup, you would think. I'll have a lot of Luzardo, even though he's popular. Hoping to get a little different with some of the bats. And then the mid tier, that's the guy, right? Like I'm not really into Merrill Kelly. I think Framber's an option for anyone who's willing, but I didn't even write him in the article because I'm not going there. I mean, he's fine. I'm not that worried about the Angels totally, but at some point I will be. You got Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon. Like at some point, I feel like I'm just not going to want to fuck with them. So I'm going to get a head start on that on a slate that's really deep and not pitch him. What about value?
Yeah, so Brad Keller's kind of interesting. I do have when I glanced at the slate last night, I was like, I'm going to get St. Louis bats sneaky. They haven't gone off. They were out for COVID. This team's, got some veteran good hitters. And, I picked on them with pitchers last week when they were taking on the Reds. It didn't really work out much, so as I do like their bats, but I can also justify using Keller. It's kind of like a spot where there's cases for both. But Keller's looked good so far this year, and he was really solid last year. Maybe not great for DFS, but at 6-7 or whatever his price is, he usually paid that off. So then St. Louis is not a team that we normally fear, right? They do have a couple extra lefties out there, which you want against Keller. I think you could justify either spot, but Keller's a guy that I think you can use at pitcher. And then you got Casey Mize. CK just told us the Cubs have the second most strikeouts to righties. This guy is the number one pitching prospect in baseball 2 years ago. Looked good in his first start against Cleveland. He makes sense to me as well down here, and that's it. No Anderson, no Castellini.
Yep. No, I think that it's funny because the Brad Keller spot, Cardinal spot, that the Cardinals are the offense that I'm like I have right outside looking in right now, and I'm very afraid of that because it's Keller. At the same sense, the reason I decided to bump the Cardinals back one spot in my internal rankings is because Brad Keller has been known to troll, and last year he had some pretty good games, and if there was an offense that could maybe get him going a little bit to have those same kind of games, it would be the Cardinals, a team that's been struggling, had that COVID break, and a team that we don't really know what to expect from. If you look at that lineup, you don't really know what to expect from the Cardinals this year. They have a nice little mix of veterans and young guys, but the question when you have that, you need the young guys to be ready to play like veterans. You need the veterans to still have that youth left. So a lot of unanswered questions, I think. This kid Mize, I agree. He's the cheap one that I got my eye on. He was projected to be chalk the last time he pitched against the White Sox, and he wasn't. He didn't do outstandingly spectacular. He laid a 13 because he only threw 75 pitches or whatever against the White Sox, but he was very low owned, and I'm anticipating him being relatively low owned just because it is the Cubs. So I don't know if people. And listen, the Cubs are a good offense. We talk about their high strikeout rates. We do expect at some point them to kind of settle in a little bit, but in the moment, the teams that have been leading the league in strikeouts are still leading the league in strikeouts. You're not seeing a ton of that corrective shit happen yet. So with that said, We know this kid's a top prospect. He had a 15.1% swinging strike rate against the White Sox, a 35% K rate. So I'm good with it, and he's going to be the one in the cheap sheets that I have. He had a 23% hard contact rate in that game, man. 23%. Holla.
That's good.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with pitching too. Only 7 games. Let's talk about offenses, Paulie. So talk to me a little bit about some of the offenses that you're looking to focus in on tonight.
Yeah, so I like Cleveland taking on Maeda coming off the game of his life. They're just a tough out for anybody. I love their lineup, very, very deep. And they're going to be super contrarian, discounted a little because of Maeda going against them. Basically 1 through 6. I don't care too much for the bottom 3, but I do think they're the interesting, contrarian, high upside kind of offense. I like me some Cincinnati, stacked with Trevor Bauer against Brett Anderson. I'm going to like the Reds bats against lefties all season long with Matt Davidson, Castellanos, Eugenio Suarez. A couple guys I don't mind as lefties like Moustakas, Winker. You got Phil Irvin in that bitch. I like the Reds bats quite a bit. And Arizona, against this Castellini kid who's actually a decent prospect, but roof open, tough team to strike out, bad bullpen behind. Give me some Arizona as well. If you're trying to jam in 2 expensive pitchers, I think we could take a shot at Detroit. You go 4 or 5 of them, coupled with 2 expensive pitchers and an expensive 3-man. I don't mind that. And that's basically what I'm interested in.
Bro, it's on. It's on. Again, don't know what the outcome's going to be, but I like a lot of the same shit, man. First of all, Cincinnati, like you said, against Brett Anderson. I think you and I missed the boat the first time these guys met, and the Reds hit like 3-4 home runs right in the first inning or some shit. Not again. A little concerned about when the bullpen comes in, but regardless, we have a small park. The Reds they have good players. This isn't like take some shitty team because they match. Like they have actual good hitters. So even though this is a tough bullpen coming in, you still have that upside with a small park. Arizona, I didn't think they'd be popular initially, but after looking at a few ownership projections, it seems like they may be a little popular. I don't care. I understand it. I see it. The roof is open. This Castellini dude's not bad, but he's making a jump from Double-A. He's not as strong of a prospect as some of the other guys like Mize and these dudes. And even though he started off well in his first few starts, if you look at who he played, I forget who it was, but it was very soft competition. The minute he saw a good offense in the Astros, granted it wasn't Coors, he got lit up. And so I'll be going for that same type of outcome with the D-backs. I like the Rockies in that game too, so I've already made the Merrill Kelly decision. But the main reason that I'm doing the Rockies were the one team that seemed to consistently hit him last year. He saw them 3 times last year, Merrill Kelly, and the minimum he gave up was 4 earned runs. He gave up 4, 5, and 6 earned runs in those 3 games. And they weren't all at Coors. Maybe one was at Coors. But, yeah, so I'll be giving a shot with the Rockies. With the roof open, I'm pretty much just asking that game to do the dirty. Houston is another offense I got my eye on against Patrick Sandoval. He's got like a 15% strikeout rate right now. Angels' bullpen's been terrible. Houston's at home. They're not cheating anymore, so that sucks. They should be cheaper because of that, but some of the guys are. You should get a discount. Last year, you played them cheating at the same prices as I'm paying today. I should get a discount or something. That should. The last team I'll mention, and you mentioned him already, is the Tigers, bro. I like the Tigers. Alec Mills, listen, he's not terrible. He's got a really good ground ball rate, but he's got a 7.3% swinging strike rate. This guy's a sinker baller who does not throw a lot of junk. I mean, the line has moved heavily against the Cubs. They opened up as minus 140 favorites. They're down to like minus 120. That's like over a 20-cent move. Pretty good. And I think that the Tigers on a 7-game slate are going to be crazy low owned. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if people took Mills against the Tigers just because it's the Tigers. So I'm with you, Paulie. They're very cheap. You can grab 2 good studs if you want. You can do a Flaherty, Bauer if you want. Grab yourself some Tigers, and you won't feel good about it. You'll never feel good about stacking the Tigers, but you'll feel something. And if they win you money, your perspective may change. You may learn a little something. So Uh, I'm with you though, bro. Like that, those are the offenses I'm rocking with. Let's talk about the Cardinals a little bit because I was hung up on the Cardinals. Initially, you look at it on paper, Keller's got like a 5x FIP right now. We know he's not great, but last year we know he's like a Martin Perez. Like you just can't get that fucking guy right. And there's been times where we've used him. You specifically last year had a couple moments with Brad Keller where he actually did the dirty for you. A couple times, like not just he got me a 15. He did the dirty. Like I remember a couple times you caught him on some 30 burger shit. I remember, and so I was perplexed. And then we know the Royals bullpen's not great. It's like 70 I think degree dew points in St. Louis, but it's always that way, and they never fucking do dirties. So let's talk a little bit about tell me was it really Keller that kind of got you a little more towards you know what? No, this guy's actually like not as bad as he always looks, or what?
So I'm taking a deeper dive right now, right? Like Keller over this shortened season and last year, dominant to lefties, dominant to righties, doesn't strike anything out, just keeps the ball on the ground, 52% to righties, 47 to lefties. So he's going to throw a lot of sinkers, a lot of sliders, and a lot of fastballs. Lefties hit his sinker well. Righties, which is most of St. Louis, hit the fastball well. Let's take a look at thy fastball and right-hander. Goldie, good. DeJong, good. Molina, good. Take a look at lefties versus thy slider. Versus thy sinker. And Brad Miller is a good. Matt Carpenter is a good. Low strikeouts. Team that makes, it's like, I don't think it's going to be a major upside spot unless you get to the bullpen early, but they should be able to get on base and hit them. What kind of prices do these dudes have? I think if I had to lean away, it'd be towards the bats.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think I could put the trigger on Keller. Don't get me wrong. I will not be shocked if he wins the slate tonight. I will not be shocked. I saw it happen fucking numerous times last year. But looking at the profiles... go ahead.
The way the slate plays out to me is I think you double spend up a pitcher. You use teams like the Cardinals and the Tigers to make that fit with a 2 or 3 man stack that you really do like. So I'm going to say let's go against them if I have to do a final decision.
Holler for $1. Need that money for tomorrow. Hit the like button, nation. Hit the like button, nation. We'll get into some questions. If you guys want to get in some questions, we will do that. In the meantime, we are going to first do some dong watch. Look for some home runs. Paulie, you first. Who's going deep?
Give me Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez. I will go with. It's funny. I had a feeling you were going to pick an Indian. I was just curious on which one. I'll go with. I don't want to go with the same one I wrote out. We'll go with. Damn, I must really like the guys I wrote up because I went for 2 players that I already wrote in the article. Let's get a little different here. I'll go with how about Matt Davidson, 3K. If it doesn't happen, if it doesn't happen in the first inning, it's not happening. But if it does happen in the first inning, there's a possibility for 2 more later. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Give me Charlie Blackmon.
I like that one. I'll go with Nolan Arenado in the same team.
I like that. I guess we should play some Rockies, and I'll take Nico Goodrum.
Nico. I'll go with let's go with Christian Walker, who just I don't know why that guy screws me every fucking time I play him, but Christian Walker it is. We'll check in the chat real quick. What up, Brian? My brother says Serge. Yes, Serge Ibaka was good yesterday. MG, optimal ass eating hour. Do you have an optimal ass eating hour?
late.
Late, yeah, they got to be late. Brian asked about Mize. I think we both said that he's worth a shot in tournaments. Tony A says Mize at around 12%. Zona is chalk. Yep. MG Mize.
I like the idea of Mize with the Tigers stack. You know?
No, I do too. And then you could really get some serious, like, good one-offs. You can get, like, some whoever you want. You know, you could really go in there, go deep. And, you know, the good thing about the Tigers is since they all suck, like, you'll play any position. You don't care because they all fucking suck. Is it that different?
Yeah.
Is it that different playing this guy from that guy from that guy? Like, no, whatever fits. You know, put in your priority fucking bets and then build them around. Tony A. Mills at 2%. So maybe Alec Mills will be low owned. Maybe. But I'm riding with that reverse line movement. The public is heavily betting Chicago, yet the line's moving towards Detroit. I will be there in some facet, whether it be the pitch or the bats, both. Holler for $1 in that Monday for tomorrow. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit the like button. I don't see any other questions, so it's going to be a brief one. As usual with the baseball shit, one thing I like about baseball is you kind of get to the point. We're not going to sit here and talk about every fucking, you know, situation that we don't have time for all that dirty stuff. But we come here, we tell you what we like, and we hope that we all fucking win and book our tickets to Screenshot City. Anything in closing, Paulie?
Indeed. No, you covered it all right there.
That's it. For Paulie D, for myself, that's it. Getting dirty.
That's
it. Tony A says, I'm a Cub fan, but I love the Tigers. Man, I hate when that happens. It happens all the time to me as a Met fan, but I hate when that happens. That's it. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, that's it, and good luck.
Yeah.